WaterWiz in Wareham, Massachusetts is Cape Cod's only water park. This 8-acre park not only is one of the best names ever for a water park, but WaterWiz also features a dozen different attractions. And the aesthetic improvements over the past few years has this park looking better than ever. So in this video, I will be reviewing WaterWiz to help you determine if you should visit. Many of you may have seen this water park before in the 2010 film of Grown Ups. WaterWiz was the water park that Adam Sandler and his buddies visited. But unfortunately, that crazy zip line to the wave pool does not actually exist. This is an action park. To be honest, WaterWiz looks way better today than it has at any point. Originally, most of the slides had mundane white paint schemes. It just looked dated. Now most of the slides have vibrant, multicolored paint schemes. This has really improved the overall appearance of the park, and it makes WaterWiz feel a lot more modern, even if the slides themselves haven't really changed much over the years. At one point, there were actually two WaterWiz parks. The first opened in Westerly, Rhode Island in 1979 with a handful of mat slides. The park operated the same slides for 40 years, never expanding, until they closed permanently after the 2019 season. The second location, Wareham, was much larger. Wareham's WaterWiz opened in 1982. Built on a hill, this park opened with Hurricane Hill, which were a series of mat slides similar to the ones found at the Westerly location. This 5-slide complex still operates today, and it's among the park's most popular attractions. Throughout the 1980s and 1990s, the park continued to expand, but that growth started to slow at the turn of the millennium. WaterWiz was out of room. After the Thunder Falls Water Park in Mackinac City, Michigan closed in 2012, WaterWiz purchased 2 slide complexes from the park that would be added for the 2013 season. To add them, WaterWiz expanded into their own parking lot. The first tower was a trio of tube slides that were fittingly named Thunder Falls to pay homage to their former location. The slide's logo is actually the same one that the old water park in Michigan used. The second slide tower was Devil's Peak, and these were a series of speed slides, and they arguably became the most intense attractions at the park. These 2 slides were welcome additions to the park, but they did reduce the number of parking spaces available in the main parking lot. If you don't arrive within the first hour, you likely will have to find the main lot closed, and you will be directed to the strip mall next door. This is where I had to park on my most recent visit. It is a longer walk, and it isn't a glamorous one either, but everything inside the park itself looks good, as I mentioned earlier. And thankfully, parking is free. As of 2021, adult day tickets cost you $40, which is in line with the prices charged by the other major New England water parks. And this is the only water park in Cape Cod, which is a major tourist destination, so the ticket price definitely makes sense. If you want to save some money, you can either find a discount on the day tickets, or you can arrive later in the day. WaterWiz offers reduced rates 2 hours before closing and 1 hour before closing. And if you visit on the right day, you can do a ton in just a short amount of time. The cooler and cloudier it is, the less crowds there will be at WaterWiz. On days like this, I usually find no lines at this park. But even if the park is busy, lines typically are not a major problem. My most recent visit took place on a sunny 90-degree summer day. That is ideal water park weather. The park's midways were busier than I had ever seen before. In the middle of the day though, the speed slides were just 10 to 15 minute waits, and most other slides were no more than 20 to 30 minute waits. The only exception was the Squid Row tube slide, which had a 45 to 50 minute wait due to a much lower throughput. But by the final hour, most slides were no more than 5-minute waits. Squid Row was again the only exception. So if you arrive at opening, I would make that slide your top priority to avoid the line it can build up. The dispatch intervals and slides at WaterWiz are ridiculously fast. Pirate Plunge is arguably the park's premier slide, and they send someone down the speed slide every 15 to 20 seconds. It's like an assembly line. Similar times are observed on the other speed slide in Devil's Peak. The only thing that slowed these times down was if a guest froze at the top. But when this happened, the staff was really understanding and comforting. I had nothing but positive interactions with any of the staff at WaterWiz. On many of the tube and mat slides, WaterWiz will have multiple tubes on the course at once, which does keep the line moving. Squid Row is yet another one of the exceptions. The speed slides on Hurricane Hill are another exception, because of how wildly guests wipe out at the bottom. They have to wait for guests to exit the pool, but because there are so many slides on Hurricane Hill, this line does keep moving at a steady pace. On the busier days, part of your wait for the tube slides will take place at the bottom of the tower while you wait out for a tube. If you want to save some time, you can rent a tube for $20 with a $10 refundable deposit, but I've never found this necessary in my visits. The other tip I have for crowds is in regards to the changing rooms. The ones by the main entrance are much smaller than other water parks I've visited, so they can build up lengthy queue lines at opening and closing. I would actually recommend using the bathrooms back by Devil's Peak because they typically do not have a line. If you need a locker for your belongings, they cost $15 with a $2 deposit. There is only one size, and they comfortably fit my drawstring bag and shoes with plenty of room to spare. They're larger than the small lockers you find at most water parks. If you have young kids, WaterWiz is one of the best water parks out there. Not only does it have the obligatory kids' play areas, but the height requirements for many of the large slides are non-existent. The only slides with height restrictions are two of the slides in Hurricane Hill and Devil's Peak. There is no minimum height for everything else. That includes all tube slides, most mat slides, and even Pirate Plunge. You just need to be at least 2 years old, and if you are under 48 inches in height, you'll just have to wear a life jacket and have a parent wait for you at the bottom. WaterWiz has a diverse slide lineup. They have 3 speed slides, 5 mat slides, 6 tube slides, and a few kiddie slides. However, there really isn't a standout attraction. All the slides are okay to decent. The lack of a standout attraction is the park's biggest flaw in my opinion. Devil's Peak stands 76 feet or 23 meters tall, and it features 2 speed slides. The orange one drops straight down, while the blue one has a small pre-drop before the big drop. Both slides have great speed and good visuals, but the drop itself isn't as thrilling as other speed slides. It's extremely evident when viewed from the side, but the angle of descent is pretty shallow for a slide like this, so you never get that free fall sensation or feel yourself momentarily lift off the slide. Pirate Plunge is the pitch black speed slide atop the hill in the center of the park. This slide is a giant double down, and the drops are even shallower than those in Devil's Peak. However, I do prefer this slide because it is possible to get a tiny bit of airtime in the second drop if you give yourself a strong push at the start. Thankfully, all 3 of these speed slides are very smooth in your back. In fact, pretty much every slide at WaterWiz is perfectly comfortable. The lone exception are the speed slides in Hurricane Hill. These mat slides have a very violent exit into the pool. Most guests will awkwardly wipe out and or faceplant into the pool. It's pretty funny to watch. These speed slides are decent overall. They feel very out of control. Not only on the splashdown, but the wide trough allows the mats to twist left and right on the way down. And these slides build up a considerable amount of speed as they zip down the triple down. As with Pirate Plunge, it's also possible to get a tiny bit of airtime on the final drop with a good push. 2 of the serpentine slides on Hurricane Hill are exclusive for children. There's a smaller one a third of the way up the hill, which makes sense. But anyone over 15 is barred from the green slide. This was a major bummer for me because this was actually my favorite slide in the park as a kid. The speed in this slide combined with the tight turns make it a challenge to stay on your mat. The teal serpentine slide that adults can ride has much less speed, but it still has some decent turns that'll have you sliding up the side of the slide. Thunder Falls is a solid tube slide tower, the best in the park. These slides have decent speed, sudden dips, and tight turns. There's a helix on the yellow side in particular that was spinning everyone backwards. If you like tube slides, this is your best option in the park. Like I said earlier, it's not only the best of them, but it also is the fastest moving line since it has 3 different sides. Canal is located on the central hill. This slide doesn't have much speed, and if you ride alone, it's downright boring. But if you take a double tube and get as close to the 300-pound maximum as you can, you will really swing up some of the walls in the middle of the ride. Squid Row is just as slow as Canal, and the turns are a bit less thrilling. However, it does have an enclosed slide that features 1 or 2 surprise dips in the dark. Beyond the slides, you have a few options for fun. Beyond the kids' play areas, you have the Muscle Beach Wave Pool, that generates big waves every 10 minutes. Alternatively, you can relax on the Herring Run Lazy River. This attraction circles around the kids' play areas, travels past some sprayers, and features some waves in one section. As for food, I cannot comment on WaterWiz's offerings because I always get fresh seafood elsewhere in Cape Cod, either before or after my visit. So do I recommend WaterWiz? I think it depends. If you have young kids, absolutely. I think this is the best water park in New England for kids because of the water play areas and the fact that so many slides lack height restrictions. If you want something fun to do while on a family vacation in Cape Cod, it's hard to go wrong with WaterWiz because you can either go for a full day of fun or an action-packed few hours at the end of the day, depending which option you choose. If you're coming from a distance, I would recommend other water parks in New England because WaterWiz does lack that true standout attraction in my opinion. WaterWiz's strengths are the fast operations, minimal wait times, friendly staff, and diverse range of slides over quality. I still think the best water parks in New England are Whale's Tail in New Hampshire and Hurricane Harbor at Six Flags New England. So those are my thoughts on WaterWiz in Wareham, Massachusetts. Have you been to this water park? Or did you visit the old Westerly location? What are your thoughts on this park? I would love to hear what you think about WaterWiz down in the comments. If you enjoyed this review, I'd appreciate if you gave this video a like, and you considered subscribing, because there'll be a lot more roller coaster and amusement park videos here at Canopy Coaster. Thanks for watching.